Great Moments at Breakfast, presented by Kellogg's Rice Krispies.
Barbara, the Kellogg's Rice Krispies, the boys all gone. No more Rice Krispies. We ran out of Rice Krispies. My tears will not stop until I hear snap, crackle, pop.
My mother-in-law.
Enough to last at least 2 months, but how long I'll be here?
It's her 15th visit so far this year.
Go.
No more Rice Krispies. We ran out of Rice Krispies. My tears will not stop until I hear snap, a crackle, pop.
I spilled water on myself.
Oh.
It
Seems we've managed to make it through the first day. Okay. She's talking about not letting them find out Kinzo's alive, but when you think about it being a murder mystery, that's also kind of funny, that wording.
Wait, what did she say?
She said, "It seems we've managed to make it through the first day."
Right.
Natsui could be seen in the study. When she muttered as though to herself, gold butterflies appeared and formed the shape of a person.
Oh god.
We mustn't let our guards down. I can't imagine we'll last through tomorrow if we simply sit around here. So, as I suspected, simply saying Father's in a bad mood and refuses to come out won't be enough to deceive them completely. Indeed. It seems last year left them quite suspicious. Because of that, the toxin has expanded and is coiling itself around the study, growing ever tighter. I imagine it goes beyond mere suspicions raised last year. That's right. The toxin has grown too thick to be explained away by that alone. Someone must have suspected Kinzo-tama's death since last year, and is strongly intent on exposing that secret at this year's family conference. Does that mean we didn't have them fully deceived even after a full year ago? Unfortunately, it's probably best to assume that, given our current situation. The typhoon will remain here tomorrow, and the boat will not come for them until the day after. In short, we must endure for another 36 hours at the very least. It may not be visible to your eyes, Natsui, but the closed room barrier sealing this room was once very firm. Tonight, however, it has been worn down almost to the point of crumbling, like dry leaves awaiting a windstorm. No, the storm is already here. Natsui, I propose that we switch from the closed room barrier to something else. What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting we change our plan? That is correct. Vigilia and I will reconstruct a barrier similar to last year's. In other words, we'll take Kinzo out of the study and have him tightrope walk from shadow to shadow where the toxin can't reach. Just like last year. It may be dangerous, but I would like to second her proposal. Is this a joke? Do you truly intend to change the plan this far in? When one realizes they cannot withstand the siege, they must consider the option of abandoning the castle. Right now, this room is like a castle surrounded by enemy troops, with its walls about to crumble. If staying put means certain death, then you also have the option of riding out for one last stand and an honorable defeat. After all, surrender doesn't seem to be an option in this fight. I'll protect Father's secret until the very end. If it's discovered, we'll have no chance to talk our way out of it. My husband's embezzlement will be exposed to the light of day, and the Ashiromiya family's honor will be destroyed. We must remain firm and prevent that no matter what may happen. Calm down, I understand you. Krause's alchemy will soon yield great results. If we can just make it through this year, we'll manage. So don't get flustered. But we used this strategy precisely because we wouldn't be able to pull off the same trick as last year, right? Isn't it the height of stupidity to return to a plan you previously abandoned because it was impossible? Just what sort of plan could we hope to make at this point? Ronabe and I will prepare one. Leave it to us, for creating illusions is what witches do. All you have to do is give us your permission, Natsui-sama. Teacher and Ronabe are quite reliable at times such as these, and the servants of the One-Winged Eagle are top-notch furniture. Once Teacher and Ronabe rebuild the magic we need, I imagine the servants will work hard to protect it. It still isn't too late. Let's take Kinzo out of the study and make that illusion walk around. Did you forget we chose our current strategy because we considered plans like that and couldn't find anything that would work? It would be the height of foolishness to get flustered in an emergency and carelessly throw away our primary plan. But Natsui-sama, as you stand there amidst the talk then, you must realize better than anyone else that we will no longer be able to outlast this siege. I propose that we try and think of another plan without changing our objective of holding the fort. In any event, as long as we can keep this room sealed, no one will be able to deny Father's existence. After all, one cannot determine the contents of a cat box that no number of people could ever hope to open. Well, that may be true. But humans are capable of defying reason. It's possible for them to eat into an airtight cat box and go inside like black ants closing in on a box of cake. Lady Burncastell's piece also worries me. It was fortunate that Erica stole the show at tonight's dinner. By doing that, she created an atmosphere in which it was possible to close down the family conference for the night. If you all had returned directly to the family conference as usual, the barrier might have been broken tonight. However, it also made the talk thing grow even thicker. After it thickened all night, it might manage to penetrate the closed room barrier with ease. Whether we continue to hold down the fort or not, we will not make it through tomorrow unless we prepare a new strategy and a new barrier. Lady Burncastle may have some plan for breaking the closed room barrier. We can't take that piece called Erica lightly. Come to think of it, that man who mentioned taking revenge for the events of 19 years ago might also be a piece of Lady Burncastle's. This board achieved an equilibrium with 18 pieces, but now it has had 2 undesired pieces added to it. There are too many irregularities this year. Lady Burncastle is a fan of Eastern things. In shogi, or Japanese chess, you aren't allowed to drop pieces in during a game. Yes, that is possible. Even the act of dropping a queen from the captured pile right in front of the enemy king is an allowable trump card in shogi. I wonder what that man who claimed to have a connection from 19 years ago is doing now. Is he already hiding somewhere on this island? That girl called Erica was able to appear by claiming to have drifted here. That man might also have landed somewhere on this island despite the typhoon, and he may be hiding somewhere now. And it's going to be hard to fully deceive the relatives any longer. Why? Why, if so many irregular things happened at the same time, how can you explain this nightmarish miracle of coincidence? Natsui slammed the desk hard, held her head, and cringed at the pain from her overwhelming headache. Lady Burncastle controls miracles. There's no point being surprised at irregularities or miracles when she's around. Well, shogi is a game in which an enemy piece might suddenly appear in front of a king. For that very reason, you build up a perfect formation that won't allow for such a weakness, artistically constructing a castle around your king. In that case, isn't holding the fort exactly where we should be doing now? Perhaps if we had a fort we could hold, but we cannot hope for such a thing now. It's difficult to corner a king with no wall to his back, and even more difficult to corner one with open spaces in all directions. Think of a mouse. You can catch a mouse that's shut in a cage. However, catching a mouse in a field is like trying to catch a cloud. Natsui-sama, please allow us to consider this option. Kinzo-sama will leave his study and wander around the mansion on a whim, avoiding the gazes of the relatives. We will think of a natural theming plan for this by morning. Don't you see the danger? If we're willing to consider such a dangerous option, wouldn't it be better to continue acting as though Father's in his room in a bad mood? Tomorrow the relatives will crowd around the study once again. They'll be right on the other side of that single door. When that happens, just how long do you intend to make it seem like they're having a yelling match with Kinzo-sama? It's impossible.
And we must find some way to postpone that impossibility for 36 hours. If you tell me to do it, I will. I am Ushiromiya Natsui, the wife of the Ushiromiya family head. If you tell me to do that, I will act out a shouting match with father for as many days as it takes.
Even Natsui realized that she could never manage it. But she no longer saw any chance of victory from a plan that involved an illusion of Kinzo walking around. Banging on the desk several times with tears of rage streaming down her face, Natsui alternated between groaning from a headache and placing the blame on one thing or another. It made one feel that there must be some curse that made anyone who sat in that chair act that way. This is like a game of mating shogi where you are on the defensive. In mating shogi, the opponent has no king, and you have no way of winning other than to avoiding a checkmate for a predetermined number of moves.
And to think that I must escape for a whole day and a half's worth of moves. It's just too many.
Don't stop thinking. Don't give up. I'll listen to your complaints, so don't have a fit. Your unshaking will to overcome this trial will bring you success with certainty. That's the power of the Witch of Certainty for you. You must not lose that magical power. Believe that you will overcome this no matter what. I'm sure you'll think of a brilliant plan. Therefore, you mustn't give up and you mustn't stop thinking.
You're right. I understand. Only I can overcome this hardship.
That is correct. Didn't Kinzo entrust you with the job of overcoming these challenges? Kinzo acknowledged that you are worthy of that responsibility.
Father!
Teacher and Ranave will think of a move. Of course, I will think as well. However, even that we cannot do without permission from our master, from you. So at the very least, don't abandon your will to fight. Don't give up.
I understand, but I'm already all tired out and I can't stand this headache. Why is it that I'm crying here all alone in this frigate study? Why isn't my husband here for me now?
Back when dinner ended, Quelch claimed to be dizzy and went to bed early. Of course, he had done this to get enough rest to ready himself for the long day ahead. But to Natsui right now, it felt as though he'd just gone straight to sleep and pushed the entire burden on her. However, complaining about such a thing would mean a failure as a wife. Isn't it a good wife's duty to work hard and put family first even when her husband is resting? Filled with regret even at her anger towards her husband, unable to determine at whom she would be angry, Natsui continued to sob. If only Kinzo could just speak to her kindly at times like this. Byato searched for him, but Kinzo had been nowhere to be seen in the study for some time now. Perhaps Natsui had noticed this as well, though she bragged that fighting alone and supporting from behind was the responsibility of a good wife. Without anyone to tell her that this really was necessary, she was now so frail that she couldn't even stop her own tears. Just as Byato was trying to think of words to console Natsui, Virgilia tapped her lightly on the shoulder. Sometimes when words of consolation don't come from the mouth of the right person, they can do more harm than good. So Virgilia just silently told Byato that remaining silent was the best course of action for now. Hi, sorry to interrupt. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me speak. Gop, please restrain yourself for the time being.
No, in this room there's no distinction between outsiders, guests, and the rest of us. You may speak.
Thank you. Ranave said it himself a while ago. This is mating shogi with you on the defensive. How do you lose in mating shogi? It's when your king is checkmated, right? That goes without saying, and the opponent has no king. Therefore, all Natsui can do is have her king run away constantly. I see. So you're thinking of that move. Has that time already come?
What do you mean? Do you mean there's some sort of move remaining to us?
It's what you proposed in the very beginning, about how to hide Goldsmith's death. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I've been thinking.
What?
Have him leave the mansion. Have him just leave the mansion and wander out into the forest.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah. I'm trying to say the time's come for us to use that. You mean having him go missing? You mean to make that move right now during the family conference? That's too dangerous. Once they'd successfully resolved all their problems, they would have to away Kinzo to West, and the best way to do that was to make him disappear. One day, Kinzo would go out into the forest and never return. They wouldn't be able to find him no matter how much they searched, so he would be declared missing. You said it yourself a second ago, Riche. You can't catch a mouse that's escaped into a field, and you can't catch a goldsmith who's disappeared into the forest. You planned for us to talk our way out of this like that. To you, such a move now, when the suspicion against us is greatest, would be no better than committing suicide. Oh, they would have probably suspected. Such a move would most certainly lead to mistrust. However, even if they were to set foot in this study, they would find nothing to aid them. It would never again be possible for them to keep Kinzo pinned down, and no matter how much they suspected his death, they would be unable to prove it. Forget about a mere 36 hours. You'd be able to protect Kinzo's secret forever that way, right? Of course, we'll also have to bear an appropriate risk. If you make that move, you may be able to overcome this particular challenge, but we cannot even guess at how much prestige you might lose for it. Even so, it's a move that will most certainly overcome our current challenge. Of course, you'll then have to face an even greater suspicion, but you won't die. Yes! That may be true, but... During the Great Kanto earthquake, the Ushiromiya family should have died. However, the mad genius goldsmith revived it so splendidly that it's now something you desire to protect. So this time, it is up to you and your husband, the new head, and his wife to do the same. Oh, is that how you intend to stir her up? I'm not stirring her up. I'm just asking if she's prepared to be the wife of the head. Are you prepared to protect the Ushiromiya family even if you end up getting dragged through the dirt to do it? I am prepared. Then now is the time. If you can survive by being dragged through the dirt, then crawl with all your might. You'll inch your way through this world of suffering, and eventually you'll restore that glory. I, Gop, the 33rd in rank, promise you this. Gop. The fact that I came to play at a time like this must be a sign from the gods of happenstance. I'll keep this promise, Ushiromiya Natsui. I require nothing in return. Riche, the one who serves you, has already paid me plenty in advance. Gop may have seemed irresponsible, but she actually possessed a strong sense of duty. She was the kind of person who just couldn't leave someone in trouble alone. Payment in advance? Oh, when did I do that? I have no memory of such a thing. Oh, I just mean those magical items you couldn't remember where you put. I made off with quite a few of them. What? So that was your doing after all. Give them back! Give back my illusionary silver crystal and moonstick. I still haven't played around by sticking them together yet. That's the sort of magic and strategy you can expect from me. I can hide Goldsmith away in a world where no one will be able to find him. Let me know the instant you need that magic. Until then, feel free to think of another, safer plan. True. Having an alternatives is beneficial for your peace of mind, and without that you'll never think up a brilliant plan. Natsui-sama, we have quite some time remaining us tonight. Let's leave Gap's strategy as a final trump card and iron out a plan of our own from now. Please give us permission, and please give us the trust, magical power, and absolute conviction we'll need to succeed without fail. If you have faith, I will make your dreams come true. If you succumb to doubt, then I will make those nightmares come true. You must build your own future. Kinzo would disappear, and right in the middle of this family conference. Such a move truly would be a last resort. Burying this final trump card in her heart, Natsui decided that she would grope around for a different plan until the last second. After all, this long night has only just begun. Burncasto and her piece had just as long to prepare as Natsui did.
Yeah. Gouge the foot and kill. And that completes it. Yo, man, I see. So that's really was what gouge meant. Once again, my reasoning was correct.
The feel of it this time was clearly different from the previous times, as though some sort of device had activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change, such as an entrance or some sort of opening. Apparently, they would need to do a little more before they could find it.
Fuck. You're incredible. If we really do find the gold, we'll have to split it together. Yo, man, enjoying the intellectual stimulation is enough for me. The only thing I like is solving riddles. The only reward I need is proof that I was right.
She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at the lock mechanism. It's definitely no mistake to say this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is all about the delicious process of exposing secrets, so she has no interest whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself or in becoming a billionaire.
I see. Pretty cocky of you setting up a device like this. The mistake you all made was letting me on this island in the first place. Simply by the existence of the Epitaph in that place, this level of reason is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone?
As she said this to the now exposed contraption, she grinned. Her smile was triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bit of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasure of having won against the one who had proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now.
If we find the gold now, the successor won't be Kraus, but you! Ha! Well, I wonder. Isn't Kraus kind of arrogant? You might even call him a braggart. It would be pretty amusing to see him lose both the gold and his position as a successor to his nephew in the course of a single night, won't it?
Poor Kraus.
Poor fuck Kraus, dude.
Erica.
If Ballard gets the gold, that'd be awesome.
Erica was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Batwa as she toyed around with the device.
Jessica was her name, right? The girl who talked back to me? Yeah. She really was acting a bit about her father being a successor. When she wakes up tomorrow and learns that you've inherited all the gold and her father's no longer a successor, I wonder what kind of expression she'll have on her face. I've got no intention of keeping that 20 billion to myself. Well, even if I got even 10%, that'd be as much as I can handle. We can split the rest fairly amongst the family. I'm even less interested in being the successor. I'd be glad to let Uncle Kraus deal with that. Will we really be able to settle things that easily in the end?
Yeah, because
Well,
Rudolph and Kyrie might really want Ballard to be the successor. And they might try to make some decisions for him.
Yep. Well, rather than trying to make guesses about that, I imagine it'll be more fun to guess at the expression Jessica wears tomorrow, and what kind of sad excuse she'll try to make. You really do have a nasty personality. Oh, couldn't you reason that out from the time you learned that I like solving riddles? I'm an intellectual rapist who enjoys exposing things people try to hide. Get it? The same thing goes for solving the Epitaph's riddle. Damn. She's a rapist.
An intellectual
Fuck.
rapist.
Intellectual rapist. That's fucked. I'll bet you want to expose the gold your grandfather worked so hard to hide. Yes, that was my goal at first, but I changed partway through. Partway through? Changed to what? I mean, Jessica. She butted in on my reason, contaminating that pure noble time. Ever since then, I've been trying to solve the Epitaph so I could teach that Jessica a lesson. Are you serious? I'll make all opponents surrender no matter who they are. That is my sole pleasure. Do you still need me to reason it out for you? Ushi made Jessica irritated me. That's why I wanted to put her in her place and decidedly solve the Epitaph. That's what led to the emotions I hold now. Can you reason out what those emotions are? This time, I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle-solving game, letting her drive me on into something terrible? That's right, it should have been possible to reason this out. If the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. Dad and some others will probably push for me, the discovered, to be the successor, and some relatives not thrilled with that prospect will probably oppose them. Despite how adamantly Erica affirmed it, isn't it written anywhere that the one who solves the riddle of the Epitaph becomes the successor? Because of this, it'll lead to a fight between those who acknowledge that theory and those who don't. If I reason out what'll happen next, as Erica did, it'll probably lead to a messy fight between Uncle Kraus and the rest of the relatives. Now that I've solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Erica was still mumbling. Apparently she had already started trying to reason it out. As I began to feel very bad, I vaguely gazed out in the black night. At that time, I looked at a dim outdoor light and saw the silhouette of a person in front of it. I thought I must be seeing things. After all, it wasn't unthinkable that someone could have been standing there the whole time, pounded upon by the rain without even an umbrella. However, the silhouette didn't move an inch, and maybe... No, it couldn't be. It was looking at me, and it was... Uncle Kraus. No, it's Kinzo. Wow. Grandfather. At that moment, I understood. Grandfather's probably been watching us solve the riddle this whole time. And he watched as we spectacularly solved the whole thing. Whoa. Without a doubt, there was a faint smile on Grandfather's face. Grandfather, who had never worn anything except moody and frightened expressions, looked at me in the eye and smiled at me for the first time. Also, he was saying, "How impudent. Or else I never thought it would be you." However, this is still the result that Grandfather's epitaph chose, so I'm sure he accepted that result. In the end, he grinned one more time. Of course, he didn't use words. His smile seemed to be wordlessly saying, "Well done." I didn't know how I should respond. I couldn't do anything but stand there in shock, ignoring Erica as she crouched down, mumbling with her back towards me. Then, Grandfather stretched a hand out from the folds of his cloak and pointed at something. When I looked in that direction, there was... thing he was pointing at was probably... the signpost of the Golden Land. What? Go. I'm sure Grandfather said that one word. I nodded to show that I understood. After watching that, Grandfather nodded back, satisfied. Then, with a spin of his cloak, he disappeared, seeming to melt into the darkness. The expression on his face at the end was a smile that was, for the first time, truly satisfied. Yo, are you listening, Battler? Did you hear my reasoning? My shady diggity reasoning? I found it. That's the signpost of the Golden Land. Huh? It's facing a different direction than it used to. I see. So it means go that way. You've got some pretty good powers of observation. Grandfather told me about it. Huh? Kinzo? Where is he? I'm going. Let's have a look at what you're showing us. Just what is this Golden Land? We started to walk. The entrance to the Golden Land was right there. So, my epitaph has finally been solved, and it was Battler who did it. Wonderful. Wonderful. Couldn't be better. When I think about it, I was also ahead that no one saw coming. How amusing that the one to succeed me is just as surprising. I have no more regrets in life. Beatrice, I'm coming to join you, along with a present, the miracle chosen by my epitaph. Battler, of all people. That Battler. Wahahaha. At the very end of my life, I've seen a true miracle. Beatrice! I've won this, Beatrice! Damn, dude. Whoa! Ha! 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 Yahoo! Ha! Ha! Yo, man, except for its non-corrosive properties, there's no practical way to turn this gold into money. I imagine it'd take a lot of work to exchange all this gold for cash. At the end of a crude underground tunnel, in a VIP room so beautiful it seemed improper, was a pile of gold so large that there could be no doubting its 20 billion yen worth. Erika was calm, but Ballard couldn't suppress his excitement. As for which of the two was the correct reaction to show after seeing a mountain of gold, only those who saw the scene with their own eyes could say for sure. In this day and age, it's said that an average salaryman earns about 200 million yen in wages over his life. And this 20 billion yen worth of gold, with even 1/100th of this gold mountain, a single human could live the entire life without working. What is labor? Is the very point of human's life, since a person who doesn't work cannot eat? If so, the 200 million yen is enough to make a single person's life complete. And this is 20 billion yen. This would account for the labors of 100 humans. No, a single human life 100 times over. Of course, if you still wanted to work, you could. Any money you gained as a result could be used to play with. After all, you would already have enough money to live your entire life. No, for eternity. No, and I mustn't keep it all to myself. I can split it among 100 people. I could create a world where a full 100 humans wouldn't have to work for their whole lives. Just what kind of world would that be? Yeah, there's no doubt at all. This is the Golden Land. Whoa!
There you go. Burn Battler magnificently discovered the gold. Congrats! I had her hide the more central parts of it. But what's wrong with being just a little mean, right?
Sure, do that as much as you like. I'm not interested in the micro details, but maybe there was some kind of sheet or cover that had gotten caught on a dark grove of trees, which looked like grandfather wearing a pitch black cloak. As a result, I mistakenly thought I'd have some sort of conversation with grandfather.
Blue truth valid. Well, I did say the exact same thing in blue.
So, did it work? Where's your counter with the red truth?
I have none, at least not now, okay?
The me who'd let out a strange yell in front of the gold mountain was finally starting to regain its cool. Now that we found it, there's no covering it up. I vaguely considered keeping a discovery a secret. However, Erika wanted to prove that her own reasoning was correct by announcing this to everyone. She really is an intellectual rapist, just as she says. The puzzle-solving game is what's important to her, and she doesn't intend to take any responsibility for what happens after the riddle is solved. A riddle is sort of like a lock. Locks exist to be locked, and they're only significant when they're locked. Therefore, it ought to be essential to have some goal in mind when exposing such a thing. However, to this girl, the act of exposing it is itself her final goal, and she has no intention of taking responsibility for anything that happens later. Maybe the true storm to hit Rokkenjima is the typhoon, but her. She won't keep this discovery a secret. She'll definitely announce it so she can brag about her success. Then she'll call a real storm down upon this island. I won't be able to keep this covered up. In that case, there's nothing to do but announce this fact fairly to all. I can't imagine what'll happen after that. As she grinned, Erika muttered to herself. She must have been anticipating the uproar that the relatives would soon bring about. To her, merely imagining that was far sweeter than 20 billion yen in gold. Simply by the existence of the Epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, everyone? Damn, dude.
That Furuto.
That Furuto solved the epitaph, but then Battler takes all the credit for some reason. I guess Battler found the last puzzle.
Yeah, Battler
Piece.
helped. The time isn't
Yeah,
going
Battler did
forward at all, so I guess it's just picking up where it left off.
I guess.
Okay. Well, that's the end.
Yep, that's the end for this episode. I guess it's time to save, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Save it.
We were done
Hell
before
yeah.
noon. Like I said.
Wow. That's exactly what you said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh. System. Title back. Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, goodbye, everyone.
No.
No?
What are your final thoughts, man?
My final thoughts, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess it's nice that they're giving us more hints. Because I need them.
Well, I
With
don't
this
know.
detective person.
I honestly don't really feel like they gave you too much more than they gave you in the third episode with the Epitaph.
No?
Yeah, honestly.
Well, it's just some girl fucking solving the riddle. And she just uses other things.
They told
Just
you.
solve it
They
again,
told
basically.
you explicitly what book it was that Ava had picked.
Wait, what? They did?
Yes.
I don't
And
remember.
then you
What?
made fun of Erica Furuto. You said she was a nerd when she picked up his book.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a nerd.
Yeah.
Wait, what book was it?
It was very
remember.
important, and you made a joke about it.
I don't remember.
10 minutes ago. It was
My
an
brain-
atlas.
my brain. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Alice. Like the video game character.
What?
I forget. All right.
Well, it's the only really important new thing that I think was brought up.
All
I
right,
think
then
everything
Alice.
else was stated.
Yeah, that has.
in episode 3.
It's a book that has places,
And maps and stuff. Yes.
maps and stuff. Yeah. So it looks like we gotta brush up on geography to solve this riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing we have the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you could get an atlas.
Or you can get an atlas.
I suppose
No
Google
offense.
Maps is pretty much the same as an atlas.
Yeah.
Just use Google Maps.
But then where are they going?
Well, how would you figure that out with an atlas? Everything that's in an atlas is in Google Maps.
I got no fucking clue.
Okay.
How to solve a riddle with an atlas? Weird. Oakley dokley. So I guess, yeah, those are my final thoughts.
If you want an even better thing, you could go to Google Earth. Remember Google Earth? You could get
I remember
that.
Google Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an even better
Fucking
Google
in
Maps.
space and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Alright, goodbye.